Hi friends, and welcome back to another episode of TT Reacts. Okay, so first up, can someone point out my mistakes? Okay. Um okay. Um okay. So let's see. So the beginning of the video, it looks like this person has difficulty kicking up, which there's just no reason for you to kick up from the ground. It's just so much harder. Just kick up normally in a standing position before you do your handstand. If you can't even start in a standing position, then your handstand will not. You're not going to learn all the fundamentals that you need to learn in order to have that handstand. But I do like um, what he did in this video. He bent his knee at a 90-degree, well, no, not a 90-degree angle, but he had the right idea. He bent his knee and had one leg out. But what I would suggest for this person is to actually put their knee at a 90-degree angle so that he can put his leg up straighter, and it's gonna force him to engage his core a little bit more and have more stability in that handstand. And another thing that I'm noticing in this video here, your head is just dangling, so it's going to be a lot harder for you to do that because the blood is just going to be rushing straight to your head. So definitely engage your chest just a little bit more by putting your head up slightly higher than where it is. Yes, focus on your breathing, see how you feel, so that you can find that perfect medium of how you're supposed to do your handstand. Like I said, this person's on the right track. If you do this workout here, then you should be all good to go to do this progression here, and you will have a nice and stable handstand. But number one definitely is engaging your core and getting those breathing patterns down, because it's such a physically taxing workout. You need to make sure that you're breathing correctly throughout the handstand and starting correctly in a standing position before you can do a handstand properly. I'm working out the handstand. So this lady here, I don't really know what exactly it is she's trying to do. She says she's working out the handstand, but this here is not a handstand. It's not really how you properly practice for your standard handstand. So this looks like an advanced pose, but it seems like she's just trying to get the basic handstand down because her arms aren't even straight. So I would suggest this person just start off with basic exercises such as this one, and then you progress down the line from there. But advanced poses, you really should be waiting until you have a solid handstand that you can hold for at least 10-15 seconds before you try doing more advanced poses and things of that nature. And yeah, similarly with her head placement, could be up a little bit higher. And this pose that she's doing here doesn't really allow for core activation. So yeah, definitely focus on that as well. Just trying to keep your feet straight and try to engage your core as much as possible. But yes, with those progressions, you should be fine. Form check. Okay. So I do like that this person is faced toward the wall. But the same notes as I gave to the first man, your head is just dangling down. It's not, um, it's, it's just not correct. Um, the alignment of your spine, sure, it goes kind of like how I am sitting up right now, but when you're upside down, it just isn't, it's just not, beneficial to you to just have your head dangling, because when you think about it, you have to also focus on your balance and recruiting all the necessary muscles, and that's going to be a lot harder to do if your head's just dangling here and you're doing this. It's going to be a lot harder to balance. So put your head up a little bit so that you can actually breathe and focus on engaging those other muscles, because it's your body has to be a stable unit, and when your head isn't controlled in this way, it's not going to allow you to hold it for very long. So definitely put your head up a little bit higher. that will allow you to recruit your chest more, which will hold you up with more stability. And yeah, your core is not engaged. It seems like you are overly relying on the wall to hold you up by tapping it on the wall for like a few seconds. So definitely give yourself a little bit of distance from the wall and bend your knees and do this workout here, and you should be fine. But yes, at the end of the video there, you could see how red his face is because it doesn't seem like he was breathing very well in this handstand here. So definitely focus on that, because as adults we don't have as much leeway and as much wiggle room as children do to make these sort of mistakes. So definitely focus on those breathing patterns, especially if you're learning this as an adult. Any tips to hold the handstand? Okay, girl, you already have the handstand, but you can see right off the bat how red her face is. We have to definitely establish how we are breathing. So before you even go into the handstand, you need to engage your core. And with that, you need to brace. You need to brace for the movement. Tense your body up, hold your breath, and once you hit the ground, exhale. And try to keep a steady breathing pattern while you are doing this handstand. And another thing, it looks like you are simply balancing. It doesn't look like your core is engaged. Though it does look like a pretty steady handstand, I can tell your core is not engaged because it doesn't look stable at the top. It doesn't look like you fully grabbed it. It is a very pretty handstand, but yeah, we definitely need to make sure that we are recruiting all of the muscles that we need. So for you, I think it's really just engaging your core, and that might come with sacrificing your perfectly straight form, just so that you can learn how to engage your core in that movement. And then over time, you'll be able to make it look a little bit prettier, which isn't fully necessary. It doesn't have to be the prettiest handstand you ever saw to be a good handstand, like a lot of people think. But you definitely, I think you have most of the fundamentals down. Just engage your core and make sure that you're breathing correctly in this movement, because that's another big reason why people can't hold it. They're not breathing. They're not breathing correctly. So focus on how you're breathing in this movement. Alrighty, last video, y'all. What exercises do I need for a straighter handstand line? Okay. So this is what I mean when I say that people learn backwards, or they just learn out of order how to do a handstand. This is a prime example. This person here, they're pointing their feet, and it looks like she's trying to have like the perfect straight line. But like I said, it's a progression for these things for it to be a good, steady, stable handstand unit. And she said she has a lot of anterior pelvic tilt, and she said that when she straightens out, her feet go backward. So that is likely because you're not fully engaging your core. Because if you engage your core, it's going to be a lot harder for you to go backward into an arch in the opposite direction. But when you're practicing on the wall, bend your knees and engage your core. Pop one foot out and do this movement here. That's going to really teach you how to engage your core, and also how to have it be almost straight. I mean, not straight like how you want it, but it's going to be straight enough to where you can hold a stable handstand and overcome that anterior pelvic tilt, because that is very painful, very dangerous, and it's something that we generally just don't want in a handstand. She said she started concentrating on glute bridges, planks, and dead bugs. Honestly, I think that you need to focus more on just getting a handstand and being able to hold it without a wall before focusing on how it looks and how straight it looks. It doesn't matter how straight it is. It just really matters if you're doing it safely or unsafely. You get what I'm saying? So let's shift the focus from how can I make it as straight as possible, to how can I hold a handstand for as long and as safely as possible, because whatever workouts you're doing clearly aren't working if your handstand still looks like this. I think you just need to shift your training into more handstand strength-based training. Um, like I said, an example is popping your feet out into that movement. Not only is that going to strengthen your abs, it's also going to teach you how to do this movement here and hold that handstand without a wall, without doing a pike. And wait a minute. Hold on, I don't think she's actually on the wall. Is she suspending in this movement? No, I think her head was touching the wall. Yeah, I thought she was actually like fully in a handstand for a minute. I don't think she actually is. I can't really tell from this angle. But yeah, in any event, you need to do those circuits because that's actually going to teach you how to strengthen your shoulders and hold you up, your abs, and really it's just going to teach you how to have an integral handstand rather than just having a pretty handstand. If you do the workouts that you see frequently in this group, such as this chest to wall handstand where you're literally laying down on the wall, you're never going to get the strength necessary to hold a handstand for a long time. It's going to take you a very long time to even get a handstand, and when you do, it will be straight, but it's not going to be stable, and it's probably not going to push you toward your goals of doing tricks or whatever the case is of what you want to do. So yes, definitely keep your routine up at the gym, and then incorporate this training, handstand training, on top of that, maybe for like 5 to 10 minutes a day, whether it's 3 days a week or 5 days a week. I think it's definitely a challenging workout, which is why you should do it maximum of 10 minutes a day, because it's kind of hard to do these workouts. But like I said, it's going to push you toward your goal of getting a handstand first of all, and then later down the line you can focus on getting it as straight as possible. Alrighty guys, that was the last video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and if you enjoyed it, go ahead and like the video and subscribe, and I'll be coming out with more handstand reaction videos. Alrighty, until then, ciao.